What's good, everybody? I want to check some stuff out here. I got a different camera. I don't have the lights on, so the light quality is probably not that good, but I wanted to check some things out. Got a video over here of Romeo Santos. He was interviewed for his Formula Volume 3 album, and I want to check this out. I want to see how everything works. So I'm just messing around today, that's all.
There we go. Bro, we're gonna chop it up, tell him a little bit about my experience.
What up, boy?
Early beginnings, and also talk to him about my album, Formula Volume 3.
You got me back downtown.
Yeah, man.
This whole area is crazy down here, right?
Yeah, this bring back memories.
Now you on your third installment.
The third and the last.
This is it, wrapping it up.
Yeah, man.
His third and his last formula. Interesting. Man, let's see what he says.
Say it.
But is that how you wanted to close it from the beginning when you put out the first one?
To be honest with you, I didn't think back then like it was gonna go this far. I didn't even think it was gonna be like a volume 1 and 2. I just had so much music that it turned into 2 volumes. But the third one was more like an organic process, meaning I was working on an album not knowing what was gonna be the actual concept. And someone in my camp was like, yo, this is feeling like Formula vibes. We said, let's just continue with the trilogy.
You know, it's funny because his other albums are completely different than the Formula albums. And the Formula albums seem a bit more, dare I say, humble. It's less about him and more about his feelings. I like that. So, all right, let's keep going.
Well, we'll talk more about the album. Walk me, I want to walk around, man. And so you coming from the Bronx down here.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, you're singing with the fellas yet? Y'all had Aventura yet?
Well,
like as the homies around the way and singing at church?
Those teenagers. So we would call those teenagers before Aventura.
Right.
So that was like the
I love that
transaction.
jacket.
Like,
Right.
we were literally about to
What's that jacket he's wearing? I got to find that. I'm buying that jacket. I'm buying that jacket.
like change the whole concept of the group, the whole name. But I was still working 9 to 5.
Grinding. And so you catch the train down here. What train is that from the Bronx?
The 2. I used to take the 2. I used to take the 5.
2 and the 5.
From 1
And what section of the Bronx you from?
I'm from Vice Avenue.
Yeah.
Bronx.
Now, that's always interesting for people who get in groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's your passion, you want to sing. But are you confident that you're about to blow up?
So we linked up with a promoter in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So he started promoting our album
To the radio station.
Yeah, it was an AM local radio station. So we started popping off.
And now it's bachata station. So this is like any.
No, it wasn't even like, it was just a tropical, like local station.
Got it.
So he began playing our music. So we started popping off out there.
When he says out there, out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania? I mean, Lancaster, Pennsylvania is where, that's where the Amish live. Are they listening to, kind of tropical music? That'd be interesting.
So imagine how I felt. I felt like a superstar in the weekends. On Monday, I had to come work 9 to 5 in this building.
Right.
So I guess I wasn't digesting at the time, like, yo, I could do this for a living and not work 9 to 5 ever again. You know, like it wasn't something that I was processing. I was just doing it because I loved music.
Right. There's something to be said for the fact that you was just doing it for love.
Yeah.
And because.
But that's how it should be, right? That's how it should be. I don't think people get into sing music because immediately they're like, I'm going to blow up. Unless they were manufactured through like a Disney. But even then, those kids that went through that Disney, Mickey Mouse Club or whatever, I'm sure they sang because they had passion for it. They're not just singing like, I'm going to make $1 million or whatever. They're singing because they love to sing. I mean, every job you have, you should love it. You should love what you do, because if you don't, it's going to be a miserable existence. Trust me. And, jobs define us. So you better pick something that you like. You better pick something that is going to make you happy, because if you fall into some weird, job and it's a dead end job, you're not going to be happy. We got to have ambition, man. Got to have ambition. So, he's singing, and but he has a 9-to-5 job, and he's getting a little promotion. He's blowing up out there, so I guess that would be Lancaster, and but he's still working his 9-to-5.
That love is felt through the recordings of the music. I'm sure it's felt by fans when they meet y'all.
Yeah.
That shit goes farther than anything, right?
Absolutely. Not to sound repetitive, but when I started doing music, it was probably the one passion that I was really great at. And I guess I was like self-conscious because I'm like so passionate about so many other things I'm not great at, that I used to tell people like, oh, I write songs, I sing, but I'm really writing these records for other artists.
Right.
So when I would sing some of my tunes, people would just compliment me. Like they were like, but you sing good. And I was, I guess, like skeptical about it. Like,
Right. You wasn't sure. You wasn't confident yet. So now you're on the.
What's funny is that like his voice is completely different than his voice when he's singing. He's raspy, but I guess it's probably raspy just in the vocal cords. But when he really gets going, he opens up those vocal cords, which allows more of a smoother sound to come through. I know some people question that, like, why does he sound different? But I could see it. I could see it because if I speak low, then it gets a little raspy. But when I start speaking higher, it's a clearer voice. I can't sing.
This last installment of La Formula, and you've had all this success. I mean, you done sold out MetLife Stadium, you done sold out Yankee Stadium, you toured around the world. How do you feel at this point in your career?
Man.
Like, what is the feeling of this journey right now?
I wanted to finish the trilogy, this formula concept, in the way it felt honest to me. I have songs that some could perceive like, okay, this feels very personal, like Nirvana.
Yeah.
Like this is a record where like, I'm just venting, I'm just venting to God.
What is your...
That song, Nirvana, is, I love it. I play it all the time. I could tell it's just a vent. It's passionate. He's passionate about what he's saying. I love that. I love that song.
Hace un año te llevaste a tío, relativamente joven, saludable. Sigo dolido y no es que te esté cuestionando, pero tú conoces bien mi corazón y esa partida repentina me dejó jodido, medio enfurecido. Un tipo que no le hacía daño a nadie, terminar así en cuidado intensivo, agonizando, mientras su esposa te ruega un milagro.
Dime, mi Dios.
Guerras y muertes, nosotros pidiendo piedad, niños inocentes siendo abusados, ¿a dónde estás? Yo no entiendo tus pautas y salva al que mata y entran a tu Edén. Violadores que asaltan, mujeres maltratan y tú les concedes el merced. ¿Cómo lo entiendo? ¿Cómo lo tomo? ¿Cómo se elige una religión? ¿Cómo creer en la Biblia? Otro cura en perversión. El mundo sigue empeorando y no es por culpa de Toquicha. Anuel habla bien malo, pero no es un terrorista.
Like this is a record where like, I'm just venting, I'm just venting to God.
What is your biggest inspiration?
He was venting,
Women?
all right.
I believe that when you write a song,
he was venting, all right, when he talked about that the shooting in Texas, and he's just in that song Nirvana, he's just letting it out. Like it's not. He does say it's not Tokisha's fault. The world keeps getting worse. It's not Tokisha's fault. I'm not saying it's Tokisha's fault either, but I'm just saying that we could do better sometimes. And no matter how creative we get, no matter what how expressive we get, we got to be careful. We have freedom of speech, God bless it, but sometimes we say things that just trigger people. Some things that are said, man, just get people on another level.
That women could relate to, you're good.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want the fellas to also relate to my content, but I think that's the best, I don't know if I'm wording this correctly, thermometer, like,
Yeah.
when
The measurement of the
when
vibes.
I put out songs Like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I got this one tune in the album called Solo Conmigo.
Yep.
And the theme of that song is like just me embracing like this female that has like this, I would say like maybe f***ed up reputation.
Yep.
But I don't care about that because
right.
I'm in love with her.
right.
And I'm trying to tell her like, listen, I'm gonna support you, I'm gonna love you, and I'm not here to go evaluate your biography, you know? So it sounds a lot prettier in
It's more
Spanish.
romantic in Spanish.
But it's just basically to resume like a girl with a past that, you know, wouldn't be appealing to maybe,
Insecure dudes.
yeah. Throughout my whole career, like there's a lot of songs that I've written with an objective, like let me do something commercial. I've done that, I've made that mistake, but it doesn't connect as much.
Because you spent so much time.
That's a good point. He just made a comment. He made a comment of the fact that when he does something a little more commercial, it doesn't connect as much. I made a comment on Vivir Mi Vida from Mark Anthony about people just selling out, commercialization of music. Some of the music today is gross, absolutely gross music. Not horrible, you know, just not good at all. And they're doing it just to kind of mass produce something to get it out there just so they can make a few bucks for the album. Yeah, man, this mass produced shit, it's got to go. You know, when you sing from the heart, people love it.
Making bachata records. Bachata ain't for everybody. Like, you already know that. So people who are fans of it, they don't want to hear you trying to do no other. They like, nah, hold it down. You gotta hold it down. You have an obligation right now.
Yeah, it's a responsibility that at first I wasn't really aware of. Like I was just doing music. I love that I've been able to try new things that probably have not connected, so that it's not really losing. It's more like, okay, that's learning. Like, okay, don't do that again. I've had records that I'm just trying like crazy. And
See, I like this. I like him trying stuff. So he did a song on the album that comes from I Got Five on it. Now, it's a song that I grew up with and I enjoyed. But I'm surprised that he did that. What was it called? I can't remember which one that was called. Culpable.
En mi celda, con mis penas, voy cumpliendo mi condena. Y recuerdo tu advertencia cuando en llantos te escuchaba decir que me iba a autodestruir. Que la calle me conduce a la muerte o enterrar será mi fin. Yo soy culpable que mi vida termine así. Yo soy culpable. Muy tarde me arrepentí, yo soy culpable. Otro año que veo pasar, yo soy culpable. Aquí me pudro en soledad.
Y aquí estás, en otra visita a la victoria. Yo fui el culpable de arruinar nuestra historia.
like come up with this theme that could be perceived as corny, or just like, okay, that's not gonna connect because this is not what we feel at the moment, or I don't believe Romeo would really say that. Right. But I always try, there's a saying in Spanish, and I'll say it in Spanish. I'll try my best to translate it. De los cobardes no se ha escrito nada. And it goes to the fact, nothing's ever written about cowards. So I love to try that.
I like that too. Nothing's ever written about cowards. Well, I mean, there is some stuff written about cowards, but I understand what he's saying. You know, in Julius Caesar, there's a line in there that says, and I'm going to paraphrase it: cowards die many times before their death. The valiant taste of death, but only once. What that means is if you live your life always fearful, and I don't mean fear is not bad. There's nothing wrong with having fear, because fear is something that protects us, that lets us know that there might be a problem. But if you live your life trying to always take the safe road, you know, and it says cowards die many times before their death. You're living your life, not only are you missing out on some of the most interesting things that you could produce in a society, for yourself, for your family, or just for your own, for your own growth. Like, you got to try things. And that doesn't mean, try good things, but sometimes you have to try dangerous things, It is what it is, man. You could get hurt, doing things. You could get hurt playing, if you want to try a new sport and you get hurt, but because you were fearful of getting hurt, but, maybe that fear would have stopped you from having one of the best times of your life with that sport. Maybe that fear would have stopped you from, meeting some good friends. Maybe that fear would have stopped you from pushing your body to the limit to see how far you can go, how much you can take. If you let that fear stop you from doing it, then you're going to miss out, you're going to miss out. And he's talking about trying other things in music. And I love that. I don't like culpable, I guess is the way it's culpable, the way he pronounces it. I don't like it. I don't like it because it's the song, I Got Five on it, is so ingrained in my head that it's hard to hear that beat for culpable. So it's not that he's rapping in Spanish over the song that bothers me. It's the actual track of I Got Five on it. But he's trying it, man. I love that. That's awesome.
I may fail, but it's like, okay, but he stepped it up. He tried something different.
I want to go through the album. You want to go inside?
Let's go.
I mean, because back in the day, you wasn't going inside to eat.
Nah, this was not even like my entrance. Like, this was like the employees' entry. So remember, I worked for the security company.
Right, so you wasn't inside getting Cipriani.
Nah, it wasn't like that.
Love that beat.
You gotta walk us through this whole situation, because the first part of the album is, it's quintessential Romeo Santos.
Right,
You know what I mean? And I mean, the second half is too, but the energy, I feel, picks up a little bit in the second half of the album.
Yeah, definitely.
Pero.
Yeah,
Solo Conmigo. And then the joint with Lapis on it. How you say it in Spanish? Culpable. Yeah.
Guilty.
So, guilty, right? Yeah. So the second half of the album, I feel, is a little bit more, thank you, man. I feel it's a little bit more, how do I say, edgy.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I think Culpable is one of those records that, describes, my culture, I'm a New Yorker, and I think we all grew up on that vibe, and a lot of people ask me, where did you get the idea? So this new generation probably knows that beat from Puff.
Right.
Right. I got it from the I Got Five on it,
Okay.
So.
Okay, so I was wondering because he said Puff, and I'm like, did Puffy use that beat? But there he goes, I Got Five on it. Because that's, Romeo and I are similar in age, so of course we'd be hearing that song. I don't know what Puff did.
Well, I've been sitting with that idea for a while, and I reached out to huge producer, Vinyls.
Yep.
Dominican, amazing producer.
They're from up this way too, yeah?
Yeah. I'm like, yo, bro, look, I want to turn this. At first, he's like, you want to do that shit in bachata? I'm like, no. I want this shit to be like hip hop. Like, I want to, pay homage. And I've always been a fan of Lapis. To me, Lapis is probably one of the, if not the greatest Dominican rapper.
Yeah.
And, I said, yo, this is it. I think this is the record. I kind of wanted to keep that same hook. I got five on it. Yeah. But what I did was Spanish, lo traduje. Yo soy culpable. And I felt that song was gonna connect with New Yorkers, Latinos, and Dominicans, out there. Because if you listen to the lyrics, they're very raw, and the theme is like, just the way he just started that verse. La Victoria, that's a very famous, very known jail out there in DR, La Victoria. And it's just a guy telling a girl, like, yo, I fucked up in the streets, you advised me, I didn't take your guidance. I took it for granted. The dude is locked up, and he's like, yo, I'm guilty, and it's a really dope record.
Like, every time we sit and you just...
See, now I gotta listen to that song again. I've been skipping Culpable every time. I've been skipping it every time because I just keep hearing, I got five on it. And it's hard for me to get over that song. It's hard for me to get over that. So I'll try to listen to it now because I get what he's saying. You know, he really wanted a hip hop beat. So I don't know. That's kind of cool.
Describe the music. It's a mood, like it's always through the lens of like, you know, a real drama.
Right.
You know, whether it's romance, it's very cinematic. So now you're on this third installment of Formula. You have how many classic projects? Utopia classic.
Yeah.
Not out of here. Go.
Yeah. Utopia, absolutely. Classic. And he just said golden. I rewind it.
Utopia classic. Not out of here. Golden, crazy. Formula Volume 2 is a favorite.
Yeah.
Right? All of those you were able to bring in OGs to round out the whole project and make sure that you kept the bridge built between generations, right?
Yeah, he did that the best in Utopia. Utopia, man, he brought in some of the best, what are they, bachateros, right? Bachata singers out of Dominican Republic. And man, Utopia is hard to beat, but I do like Golden better.
And even bringing them out on stage sometimes.
Yeah, you know, I've always told my fans and close friends, I'm gonna do this till the day I can no longer surprise my fans. You know, that surprise factor to me is very important. There's so many things that I'm just calculating in my brain like that have not been done in bachata. And mind you, I've done a lot with Aventura and then as a solo artist. Formula Volume 3 is just like a continuation of, there is a lot more that could be done. You know, whoever envisioned, you know, Justin Timberlake singing bachata. And it's a fusion of pop with, you know, urban, I would say, like,
it's got R&B, pop,
yeah,
bachata.
But I've never done that before, you know?
Excuse me. Yeah, you know, the Justin Timberlake one bothers me a bit. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it per se. It's another one I can't flow with. And I don't know if it's Justin Timberlake or just a combination. I like that he tried it. It's kind of cool, you know. Sin Fin is the song we're talking about, but.
And even though I've done, you know, flamenco fusion with bachata, I have the queen. You know, Rosalia, that's like the stamp of approval. I also tapped on like genres that I've never in the past sang in my life, like Me Extraño. That's ranchera, like with Christian Nodal. Like that has a lot to do also with the format I've used in Formula Volume 1 and 2. Like in Volume 1, I did an R&B, never did an R&B in my life. I think I also did a pop. Yeah, pop with Mario Dome. Volume 2, I did salsa with Mark Anthony, so that was like, you know, very surprising. And here I'm doing merengue with Ruby Perez, Fernando Villalona, Toño Rosario, and Ramon Orlando. So I just want to give you this so you have some context.
Yeah. What's it called? I have to say it in English. 15,500 Noches. Man, that song, that's a good one. That's one of my favorite of the whole album.
This is just an analogy. Imagine I tell you, yo, I got a song, a hip hop record, and hypothetically speaking, I got Biggie, I got Pac, and I got Hove, and it was produced by Dr. Dre.
Yeah, it blows your mind.
Yo me obsesiono de ti, por desgracia eres la única en tu liga. Quiero inventar otra versión como tú, con tu cara, tu actitud y tu figura. Quiero repetir la obra de arte que mis ojos ven en ti. Ay, idéntica a ti, me basta con una copia si es hermosa. Yo quiero duplicar tu existir, conectar
song.
From where you started, Young Rosalia,
Right.
Bad Bunny. I mean, there's so many great artists that are contributing. How does that feel for
Volbeat
artists like yourself to have so
Volbeat
many
from,
great contributors?
I feel
With Bad Bunny.
blessed, honored to just pave the wave, you know, and be inspiration to some of these artists that have publicly acknowledged, you know, that they were influenced with my music. Any Latino that's winning, we're winning.
That's right.
It's ironic, we're in a building right now with, that was my first experience, you know, like having to deal with certain employees that they had their own insecurities, you know, and they were probably like, cause you know, word got around like I was doing music and, you know, like, you know, when you feel that energy, like people don't fuck with you or they don't think you're gonna make it, you reach a point where like, if they don't wanna destroy you, if they don't want to see you do bad, you're not doing something right.
Had to come inside off the street when you were working
That's
in
a
the area.
comment. That's a comment right there. He said, if they don't want to destroy you, then you're not doing something right. Man, that's a hard-hitting comment that just, it just kind of flew right over his head right here. And maybe I'm not saying it flew over his head. I'm not saying he didn't hear it. I'm just saying that is such a poignant comment that it's a bad way that we live in this society where we want to destroy greatness. We want to destroy success. And that's what he's talking about. If they're not trying to destroy you, you're not doing something right.
You didn't get to, you know, just come inside and hang out and eat at Cipriani's. So I felt as you was walking us around and giving us some of your origin story, you know, it's kind of cool to just sit down. And now we done rented out the whole, you know, because Romeo Santos is here and he's a big name now.
Thank you. No, listen, you know, this is a sign that, you know, dreams do come true, that you just got to put in the work. So to just be able to reminisce and come around this area to me was a very nostalgic. And, you know, now we rented out Cipriani's, you know, so, you know, that's a beautiful feeling.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Nice. That was a great little interview there. I love listening to Romeo speak about how he got where he got, how he created the music, why he created the music. It's just good. He just brings such good vibes, man. In a world where everyone, man, he made that comment. It's a world where everyone's trying to tear you down, and it's like if they're not trying to destroy you, see if I can say it cleanly. If they're not trying to destroy you, you're not doing something right. Wow. We got to be better. We got to be better because there's greatness out there, and greatness gets destroyed quickly, too quickly, from haters. Not just haters, but just, you know, just envious, jealous people. This is a great man, this Romeo. If he says the wrong thing, eventually someone's going to try to tear him down for some words that he says, and that's horrible. But anyway, I love what he's doing. I love what he's doing. I hope he just keeps making music for the next 40, if he has that in his life, 40 years. It's fantastic. I love it. All right, man. Thanks for just hanging out with me on a Sunday after Thanksgiving. Peace.